shot for the stars, I needed some space. I can't erase your past mistakes, so this is the part where I follow my heart. Superman can't leave his cape, that's why I told this 38. For goodness sake, take me to my safest place, my great escape. I can't take your pain away. When I'm
everybody, this is episode 6 of the MIKKIMANIA podcast. Sorry if my voice sounds mad raspy right now, but I'm coming down with something. I don't know if it's allergies, not sure what it is, but whatever it is can off in the direction where it should fuck. That's a quote from The Rock to Cody Rhodes. We got 12 days until WrestleMania. Things are starting to look pretty intense right now. Finally, last week with Raw and SmackDown, they were very lackluster. Not much was given to us to build some hype, but they did a fine job. This Monday, as of yesterday, it is 12:50 already. But yeah, we're gonna not get into Monday Night Raw. We got to get into some AEW news. I only have 4 things I'd like to talk about from this past Dynamite episode last Wednesday. The first thing I want to talk about, which I might upset some wrestling fans or AEW fans in particular, maybe a guy named Obi, he might be upset about what I'm about to say. Maybe not. Maybe he might agree. But Hook versus Chris Jericho for the FTW Championship. I'm gonna just say this, with all due respect. I think it's time for Chris Jericho to hang it up. You passed your time. It's over. It's over. Like, you're not the Chris Jericho we once knew. You're not the guy that, be rocking Stone Cold in the same night. You're not that guy anymore. And it's time to hang it up. Cool that you're giving, Hook a rub. Pause. But, it's like you're throwing yourself in matches that I feel like you just don't belong in. And storylines that you don't belong in. You're always trying to make something that's already something and make it out of nothing, if that even makes sense. But I feel like you're not qualified to do this anymore. That's probably the best I can say it. If you agree with me, you agree with me. If you don't, you don't. You don't have to agree with me. The whole point of all this is to either for you to agree with me or to not agree with me. Comment down what you think. But that's how I feel. But we're going to talk about 2 title changes on Dynamite. Speaking of Dynamite, they got a new set, new colors, new logo. The tunnels are back for their entrance. It looks fresh, honestly. It looks more exciting to want to watch, and that stuff really matters. I feel like, because you gotta attract the wrestling fan. You gotta attract them with the visuals and the presentation of, like, just everything, like a logo and lighting and stuff like that can go a long way. Granted, the lighting you're seeing for this episode looks like shit, but I don't feel like dealing with it. So you're going to deal with it with me. But we're going to start with the TNT Championship. Christian Cage versus Edge in an I Quit match. It was in Toronto, in their hometown. Or I'd say Edge's hometown. And man, these men have been fighting for years. They've known each other for 40 years. So this match was very intense and personal for both of them. But it was all over the place, but in a good way. It was just, they were everywhere. They fought in fucking the crowd. They did like a hockey fight scene. I don't remember the teams exactly, but Edge and Christian both had hockey jerseys on. They did like a little hockey fight scene, and then I believe he threw Christian into a goal post or a goalie post, if I'm not mistaken. It ended with fucking, I can't remember their damn name. Lord, this is what's wrong with AEW. Sometimes I forget some of these people that are on their roster. Let's just say two guys came out and helped Edge. There was two other people that came out to help Christian Cage, which is Killswitch and Nick Wayne. They ended up both getting handcuffed to the turnbuckles and couldn't help Christian Cage. Christian Cage was also handcuffed. Edge had teased last Wednesday Spike, a bat that had a shit ton of spikes on it. I mean, I don't think he'd really use it, but if he did, that'd be some insane shit to see. But he threatened Christian with that, and then right before he was about to hit Christian with it, Christian said he quits. Edge is your new TNT champion. I had mentioned a friend of mine earlier. I had talked to him about this. I had told him I saw Christian Cage winning, but I'm assuming they're going to further this rivalry for who knows how long, but I'm okay with it. Edge and Christian, you can't go wrong with it. We've been seeing that for years. They were a tag team at one point. Hopefully, again, they become a tag team, especially before they both retire. That would be nice to see. But, it's their own careers, and they do what they want to do with it. But yeah, we're moving on to the Continental Championship match between Okada and Eddie Kingston. This is where I'm going to praise Tony Khan for once, because I can't stand him, honestly. A lot of people that know me know that I can't fucking stand Tony Khan. I just can't. He seems like he's always coked up and doesn't know how to run a business, and he just has his father's money, and that's why he's relevant. But that guy's another conversation for another time. But they picked the right person. I mean, Okada is one of the hottest free agents that was in the wrestling, pool of free agents for a while, and you bring him in and you put him up against Eddie Kingston. No offense to Eddie Kingston, but he's good on the mic. He's great on the mic. You can relate to him. You can understand him. But his wrestling is just not. It's not good. It's not good. And I was very happy they had decided to put the belt on Okada. Okada's fucking. It's his second. I believe it's his second match or second appearance on Dynamite, and he's already a champion. So they're moving in the right direction. Dynamite actually has been pretty good the last 3 weeks. Rare of me to say something like that, but the last 3 weeks I've been able to sit down from start to finish and watch, and I've enjoyed most of the matches and most of the segments that they had going on as well. But yeah, there wasn't much with AEW. Mercedes Moné came out and did another promo. Another lackluster promo. She's gotta go heel. There's no other thing for her to do besides go heel, because as a heel I feel like you have more room, you have more leadway with it, you can say a lot more, you won't sound too repetitive and boring, and just it's better to have the crowd hate you. As much as that's crazy to say, but in wrestling, you'd rather have the crowd hate you than like you, because it makes your job a lot easier. It really does. But yeah, we're going to move on to WWE. Monday Night Raw, man. I've been watching Raw for a long time. In these last few years, sometimes Raw has just been real lackluster. It's 3 hours long. Sometimes it's hard to get through. But tonight, that was a different story. Tonight they really brought it. It was sold out in Chicago. They had to change the way their style of stage was because of demand of more tickets to be sold. So they had a smaller stage tonight because they needed to sell out more tickets. It sold out about 15,000 at the Allstate Arena in Chicago. And of course, speaking of Chicago, you already know what one man's going to have to return. It's in his hometown, CM Punk. CM Punk made his long-awaited return since his injury. He had a segment with Drew McIntyre on Monday Night Raw before they wrote him off completely, where Drew McIntyre stomped the shit out of his arm and left him laying there lifeless. And we ain't seen Punk since. He's been posting his workouts and therapy and recovery videos and stuff like that on his Instagram. That's how we've been keeping up with him. But tonight or last night was a different situation because it was in Chicago, and you gotta have CM Punk there. You have to. If you don't, you're fucking up. But the show opened up with Cody Rhodes coming out talking. His promos have been real lackluster. The build up to this match with Roman, he's had a few good ones. I believe 2 weeks ago he had back-to-back weeks were good, but these last few just weren't. I don't know. They sounded repetitive, and kind of Roman even called him out on Friday. They had a face-to-face this past Friday. Roman even called him out, saying, "You sound like a politician. You sound repetitive. You've been saying this," and he has. He really has. And I don't know who's writing his shit, but they need to fucking stop it. You're making Cody look stupid, and I very much dislike it. But Cody's talking as he's mentioning Roman Reigns. He's about to mention the final boss, The Rock. And as soon as he says that, The Rock's music hits. The Rock comes out. The Rock does his normal thing, the poses, and gets in the ring. Stood there for a minute. Got close to Cody. Whispered something to Cody. Walked out of the ring. That was the opening segment of the show. You'd probably think that sounds fucking boring and stupid. But things like that set the tone for the match. Not for the match, but for the whole show. Because now you're sitting there wondering, what the fuck did The Rock say to Cody? We don't even know what the fuck Rock said to Cody. But whatever it was, The Rock was standing on business. We'll just say that. He was not fucking around. And that's something we're going to get to at the end of the show of Monday Night Raw. But as I mentioned earlier, CM Punk returned. And we got one of the best segments of the year. Punk comes out, talks to the fans of Chicago, his hometown, and of course, talks about, having his involvement in WrestleMania. People telling him he should be a host or a commentator or a referee for a match. And then player hater of the fucking year, Drew McIntyre, comes out. He comes out. CM Punk and Drew McIntyre really, really were just going at each other's neck. I wish I can repeat just about everything they said. It's hard to remember it after just watching it one time. But you can go back and take the time to watch it. Be one of those people that take the time to watch it and study and not just talk shit on Twitter. Can't stand you motherfuckers. But, at one point, CM Punk briefly mentioned Vince McMahon in a way. Drew McIntyre was going on about, he was the chosen one. He was always the chosen one. And then Punk called him out and said, well, who in their right mind was the one that called you and say that you were the chosen one? And Drew McIntyre did not know what to fucking say, dude. He was shook. He wanted to laugh so fucking bad because he knew damn well Vince McMahon was the one years ago, that told Drew McIntyre that he was the chosen one. CM Punk throwing shots at Vince McMahon in 2024. on a show that, you know, he used to be a part of, you love to see it. This is why I love CM Punk a lot, man. He doesn't hold back, and he does whatever the fuck he wants. As you saw in his AEW run, beating the shit out of people backstage and choking them out. You love to see it and to hear about it. But that's not the only person that decided to come out during this segment. Seth Rollins, the one that will be facing Drew McIntyre at WrestleMania for the World Heavyweight Championship, decides to make his way out there as well. Seth goes on to talk to Punk in the ring. Drew, ooh, excuse me. Sorry for the people that have to listen to that with headphones. But Drew did not want to get in the ring. He didn't want to have no problems with Punk, even though Punk is hurt and can't really do much. But Rollins got in that ring with Punk, and they had a bit of exchange of words. He even asked the crowd to do a poll on what they think that CM Punk should do. First thing he said was commentary. Crowd was like, not really. Then they all started chanting referee for him to referee their championship match at WrestleMania. Which, if you don't know this, but Seth Rollins hates fucking CM Punk's guts. Drew McIntyre also hates CM Punk's guts. And I'm not talking just TV-wise and show-wise. In real fucking life, they do not like each other. Well, those two do not like CM Punk. So CM Punk being a part of a championship match and being the referee for their match would be beyond hilarious. Because CM Punk could fuck them over both, and we get no champion. You get a double disqualification, and no one wins the damn match. Well, the champion retains, but I don't see that happening either. But Punk decided to go ahead and say that he is going to be on commentary for their match at WrestleMania. So that's something to look forward to. CM Punk does it all. He can be in the ring, on commentary. Doesn't matter. He's the best in the world at what he does. So we're going to get that at WrestleMania. That should be very exciting to look forward to. And so we're moving on. Sorry, I'm trying to look at these damn notes. I got shitty handwriting. We're going to continue on talking about... Oh, my God, I forgot to fucking mention. At the end of that segment, CM Punk drops a little bit of a pipe bomb. Drew McIntyre gets fucking mad. Says that, he doesn't get the last word. Drew gets in the damn ring. Starts talking mad shit again about CM Punk. Turns around, gets a super kick from Seth Rollins, and then gets hit with a curb stomp. That's the end of that segment. So, I forgot to mention that. My bad. But anyways, we're speaking of Drew again. They were having a segment backstage with Awesome Truth, DIY, and the New Day. As the New Day walked away, you had the Judgment Day, fucking Awesome Truth and DIY standing there talking to each other, and then in the very back, you see Drew McIntyre and Paul Heyman talking. I don't know what the fuck that man's got planned, but I don't like it. These motherfuckers sneaky as hell. They really gonna have to assemble the goddamn Avengers for WrestleMania to help Cody win this goddamn championship, because I still see night one, The Rock and Roman beating Cody and Seth. And then night two is when everybody assembles to fucking help Cody defeat Roman Reigns. Or The Rock turns on Roman. We never know. Who knows? That was a very interesting thing to see. We'll see how that plays out. But they did this again later on in the show. We'll speak about that as well. Next up, we have the Rhea Ripley and Becky Lynch segment. It got juicy, Becky Lynch gave a very fiery promo after Rhea Ripley decided to mention Becky Lynch's daughter, which, her being a mom, some moms don't like that shit. You don't bring up the daughter. You don't bring up the family. You gonna start some shit. And that's exactly what Rhea did. And they brawled. They got into a big brawl. first and foremost, Dominic took a nasty shot to the jaw from Becky. Like, she landed that shit clean. Very, very intense segment with them. They brawled for a while. Dominic ended up getting his ass whooped by Becky 3 different damn times during the segment. 3 different times fucking Dominic got his ass whooped. It was getting funnier and funnier every time Becky Lynch somehow attacked Dominic just so she can get to Rhea Ripley. When it comes to that match at WrestleMania, I still see Rhea Ripley retaining. I don't see the reason of even giving this title to Becky or her having a moment. It's not like Becky hasn't been there before, you know. I mean, not too sure what they're doing with that. But the build up for it has been great. I'm sure the match will be great. So there's a lot to look forward to when it comes to this rivalry right now. And let's see what else we got. Moving on to Sami Zayn versus Bronson Reed. So last Monday, Chad Gable has stopped Sami Zayn and let him know that he doesn't believe that he can, he has the capabilities of beating Gunther at WrestleMania for the Intercontinental Championship. And, Sami's been dealing with, feeling like he's a contender, feeling like he deserves to be a champion. But, Gunther has been the longest reigning and defending Intercontinental Champion ever now at this point. So, it's a tough task for Sami Zayn. And then last night, Chad Gable, again, right there, backstage, talking to Sami, letting him know it's not that he doesn't believe that Sami can't beat Gunther, is that Sami's not even worrying about Gunther. He's worrying about all the other distractions that are outside of him. So he had to fight Bronson Reed, and Chad Gable tried to tell him that you need to focus on Bronson right now. Gunther's not the guy you need to be focusing on at this moment. That time will come, Ooh, try not to burp again on y'all. I don't want to make anyone mad. Or do I? But yeah. Sami got distracted. Again, he doesn't have his head in the right place. He's worried about fucking all the distractions. Gunther came out, stood at the stage. Sami had a good setup for a haluva kick in the corner. He looks and turns at Gunther, gives him a look, kind of letting him know that he's like, yeah, this is for you. Like, I'm about to hit this motherfucker with this shit, and this is for you. Homeboy runs into a clothesline, gets flipped around, then gets hit with the tsunami splash by Bronson Reed, and that's game over for Sami. So Sami's got to go back to the drawing board and figure out what he's gonna do in order to not be distracted and be focused on this match with Gunther, because he's just out of his element right now. He's not focused on it. But again, with even that match at WrestleMania, I don't see Sami winning. I don't see it happening. They haven't made me believe enough that he's capable of beating Gunther and dethroning him of this title reign that he's had for so long. It just doesn't seem possible. Nothing against Sami. Sami's great, but I just don't see it happening. But we got 2 weeks to wait to see that one. Moving on to Jey Uso and Shinsuke Nakamura in the main event of Monday Night Raw. Match was great. Jey Uso is so damn good. Shinsuke Nakamura, as always, just puts on a hell of a match. I feel like he never has bad matches, unless it's AJ Styles and him at WrestleMania in New Orleans. Match was not that great, which was pretty sad to see live. I was there for it, and it was pretty upsetting that that match sucked. But they put on a great match. But before the match happened, Jey Uso's cutting a promo, talking some shit about Shinsuke Nakamura, Solo, and Jimmy pull up during that promo. Jimmy hits him with the no yeet. Walks off. Solo walks off. Next thing you know, Jay's making his way out to the ring. Before he makes his way out to the ring, Seth Rollins pulls up to him and says, look, man, something doesn't feel right tonight. I got your back if something goes down. Sure enough, something wasn't right. During the match, all of a sudden, here comes Solo and Jimmy. These motherfuckers. This is after Jay beat Shinsuke Nakamura. So Shinsuke Nakamura lost. Let's get that out of the way. Doesn't matter. Jay Uso starts getting attacked by Jimmy and Solo. Next thing you know, Cody and sorry. Ooh, let me backtrack real quick. Jay's about to beat Shinsuke. Solo and Jimmy both come out as they're trying to make their way into the ring to get him. Here comes Cody and Seth, start beating their ass. Cody and Solo separate. I'm sorry, no. Cody and Jimmy separate. Seth and Solo, they go a different way. In the back, it ends up being Cody and Jimmy fighting, going at it. I could be wrong on who the fuck he was fighting. Don't correct me in the comments, please. It's fucking 1 a.m, and I've had 3 glasses of wine. Be glad I'm here. But as he's, Cody's attacking whoever the fuck it was, go back and watch it. Here comes the final boss. The Rock starts beating the piss out of Cody Rhodes. Beats the fuck out of him. Threw 2 trash cans at his fucking dome. Just threw him into a fucking barricade. They make their way to the outside of the arena. It's raining. It's raining out there. Cody Rhodes' bus is out there, actually. Rock is just talking mad shit. They're bleeping out a lot of stuff. He's probably saying some shit that ain't supposed to be said on TV. But they're bleeping it all out. He's talking a lot of shit to Cody. He threw Cody into the damn bus 5-6 times. At one point, he threw him into the front area where if you ever see Cody Rhodes' bus, Pharaoh is on the door at the bottom. He threw Cody into that area 3 times. Second time, busted him open. Cody's bleeding fucking everywhere, dude. There's blood all over the place. The Rock pulls off a belt, a weight training belt that he's been telling Cody Rhodes' mom that he's gonna bloody it up and give it to her at WrestleMania. And sure enough, he put some blood on that damn belt, and he's gonna give it to Mama Rhodes at WrestleMania probably, but probably not in the way he wants to do it. So we'll see how that goes for The Rock. But as that segment continues, he tells Cody, he's like, your dad wants to talk about hard times. He said, your daddy don't know about hard times. He's like, but you? He's like, you boy, you gonna know about some hard times. And continues to beat the living shit out of Cody Rhodes. At one point, I thought he was about to throw him off the damn ledge. There was a ledge in between where they were, and he was pushing Cody up against it, choking him like that mob shit that you see on the movies where they're about to throw a person off a building. I was like, but if he fucking throws Cody off this goddamn ledge, this is insanity. But they went with a different, route. Threw his ass into the bus a few times, cut him open. That was it. That was the end of that segment. The Raw was great. Monday Night Raw episode was great. One of the best one in years, if I didn't mention it earlier. I wish that this episode had happened last week. I felt like we needed a little more of a kick for 3 weeks. I feel like we only got 2 weeks left. So now next week, or this Friday, something's got to happen. I think Cody's got to show up and beat the fuck out of The Rock. He's got to show up and beat the fuck out of The Rock. That just makes the most sense. But this thing does feel like it's The Rock versus Cody. For some reason, it just feels like that, and I don't know why. But we know it's Roman versus Cody at WrestleMania 40. Night 2 of the main event. But yeah. What was I gonna say? This is why I like to do these things. No edits, just raw. The way I like my sex. Or I used to. That's the wine talking. Anyways. In the next few weeks, I have some plans going on. I wanted to have a nice little pre-show WrestleMania episode. Not sure if I should do it on a Friday, the Friday of the week of WrestleMania, or Saturday, night 1, before the show starts. But I got to get with some people and ask for some favors around and see how that goes. If you got any questions about, who you think is going to win at WrestleMania with Cody and Roman, put them in the comment section, or even at other matches that are on the card. Go ahead and put that in the comment section. I'm going to go ahead and give you my top 5 wrestling belts of all time. I had to do this on a little side video because some audio fucked up. Some sounds went off in the house and made this shit sound terrible. So I had to redo the video and separate this. So if you're wondering why, that's why. But my top 5, first one, at number 5, I'm gonna have to say the classic Intercontinental Championship from like the early 90s. The one Shawn, Razor, Bret, Perfect, all them guys held. Just a great looking title. I wish we brought it back, but I'm cool with the one that we have now. It's not a problem for me, but that classic one will always be my favorite. We're gonna go with, at number 4, the WCW United States Championship. It was a belt that I had when I was little, so it could be another reason why I like it so much. But also, it looked good on certain wrestlers. Diamond Dallas Page, Sting, Bret Hart at one point held that title. Sadly, Goldberg, I have to mention him. Nothing good to say about him, I'll be honest. He ruined Bret Hart's career. I don't care how many times he apologizes. Ooh, I lost my voice for a moment. I don't care how many times he apologizes for that shit. It's still fuck Goldberg. Anyways, at number 3, I'm going to go with the Big Gold World Heavyweight Championship. The one that Ric Flair, Dusty Rhodes, Sting, Triple H, Booker T, just to name some people if you don't know what belt I'm talking about. I should just mention Ric Flair and you should know what belt it is just by me saying that. That shouldn't be hard for you to know. At number 2, I got the undisputed WWE Championship. That motherfucker is a beauty. It's one of the belts I've always wanted to own. I've always wanted to own that motherfucker. At some point in my life, I will own it. It's probably going to be like 10 years from now, because trying to spend $500 on something is risky. Especially on a belt that's just going to sit there that I'm going to get to stare at for a long time. But, yeah. At number 1, I'm going to have to say the Winged Eagle. That's the belt that Shawn Michaels won against Bret Hart at WrestleMania 12. Probably my favorite match of all time. Most likely my favorite match of all time. That belt, if there's a belt that I needed to own, it was always that one. It's the best looking belt. Just go look at it. Just Google it. Google it and look it up and tell me that belt ain't fucking beautiful. You can't tell me. I'll argue with you all night. Yes, I'm drinking C4 at 1 in the morning. Mind your fucking business. But yeah. Y'all give me y'all's top 5 wrestling belts in the comment section, and I will let you know what I think of that list. This is episode 6 of the MIKKIMANIA podcast, and I'll see y'all next week.
Up and away, I shot for the stars, I needed some space. I can't erase your past mistakes, so this is the part where I follow my heart. Superman can't leave his cape, that's why I told this 38. For goodness sake, take me to my safest place, my